recorded Monday, February 10th, 2025. How's it going, Rod?
Oh, it's going great. Well, I tell you what, maybe it's going great. I'm not 100% positive. If you remember during the holiday where I lost my voice for like 3 weeks because of a cold, and now I got a cold that is coming on. I felt it coming on yesterday. Here, listen to my voice. It's starting to go again. And I'm like, what? Is this like a normal thing for me now? I don't.
No.
Yeah, it would be really bad. It says Gary says, is Ray wearing a Rod Trent t-shirt? No, it's not. She's not wearing Bruce Lee. What are you wearing there, Ray?
Data. My favorite
Data.
Android.
What does it actually say? I am functioning
within normal parameters.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. I love Data. Data was awesome. He was one of my favorites on the show. Yeah, I could never take Riker. Just never could.
He's too charming for you.
I don't know if it's the charming piece, because I don't. It's hard to charm me, but yeah, I don't know. He was just. I did like the captain. Love the captain.
Oh, John Luke.
Moment of silence for Lieutenant Tasha Yar, right? But then she came back, right? Yeah. Romulan, like what was not her, but the actress, right? So that was funky.
Yep. But yeah, nothing else is going on except a lot of travel coming up. Today I find so at the end of the month I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my wife and I are going to Paris for our 35th wedding anniversary. And then we're going from Paris to Denmark, where I'll be speaking at doing a security Copilot State of the Union at Experts Live in Denmark. Then I'll be home for a little bit, and then MMS and Vegas in 1 week. And then, I just finalized going to Oslo and then Edinburgh in June for 2 different conferences, 2 weeks right on top of each other. So lots of travel, lots of crazy travel.
I love that. I didn't know if is Ray wearing a Rod Trent shirt was that little sassy because you're an Android, but I love that you were just very. It's Data from Star Trek.
Oh wait, I get it now. It does look like me. Data looks like me, or I look like
no
Data.
Prince Spider. But I also love that it's 35 years married. And your wife looks like she can't be older than 35. So I don't know the secrets to having a long-term success. This is your next book, Rod. Okay. You need to have and Meg put together your secrets for success and what it takes. 35 years. That's amazing. That's the achievement.
Well, her and I were talking about this last night. I don't know. Sometimes things just hit me. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I'm sitting here in the shower last night thinking about things.
Did you only come to this conclusion now? You're like, I needed 35 years, but now
it was because of this. Now this is really convoluted. All right. Who remembers the band Night Ranger? And they had, Night Ranger had these songs. It was all about breaking up and all this stuff. Anyway, then I'm thinking about my 2 best friends from high school, and of all of us, I would have been the one that would not have stayed married, but they divorced, and both of them. So I felt really super blessed thinking about this. You know what's doing it? I really just want to be with her for the rest of my life. And you never, you say that with the wedding vows and stuff like that, and then you have your lives together. You have kids, grandkids. You never take a moment or stop and think about that stuff. And for whatever reason, Night Ranger, thinking about my friends in the shower yesterday evening. I'm thinking, I really just want to spend the rest of my life with her.
Yeah, this is weird. Hello,
it is a little weird, isn't it? But hey, Ray said,
why is that weird? Do I just have a different, an odd perspective? I think that's really weird.
No, not you. He's weird.
Yes.
I'm super my brain is.
I can tell you about stuff, but
you don't want to see in my brain.
Shower.
You never want to see in my brain. You don't want to know my thought process. It's just too complicated.
I know mine's scary. I think yes.
But I think that makes us great technology people, because it's like an engineer's brain. It's circular. You may not come to the right conclusion for 10 years or 35 in my case. but eventually you get there. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between.
Yeah, I tell the therapist, include that in the HIPAA notes. It's because I'm in technology that it's weird. The brain is weird. Just jot that down.
Well, true technologists don't put stuff off limits to consider. That doesn't make you. Your brain takes paths that seem to deviate from cultural norms and everything else, but that's what innovation. You can't conceive something. Like I could never conceive myself killing someone.
How do we get from 35 years in love to you're like, you know what? I just would never murder anybody in cold blood. I just do
something to one of you guys.
What is
I could be
AI Copilot? What is happening here? We need to reboot our system.
AI is making me less sensitive to human nature. How's
AI is a gimmick. AI is a gimmick. I have to say.
It's great win and raw treat, but yeah, that does when you think about it. Maybe we should just get church to have, Rod.
I would wear it. I'm a big fan. Rod and Megan, the Trents, I would do it. I am a #1 disciple.
Yeah. Do that there.
So that's what I did. Edward, I guess we passed to you and then we'll come back to Ray since she started the episode. She can finish this off and then we'll introduce our guest. But Edward, what have you done? I got to be honest. The reason why I just talked about that and travel is I really haven't done anything technical except get ready for those sessions in Denmark, in a few weeks.
So what have I been doing? Lots of Security Copilot lately. And I asked you a few questions today about a couple of things when you break out of the plug-in stuff. So that technical, some Sentinel stuff. I'm working on a lab and I'm working on a paper with Beth. Been on the show. Hello, Beth. Come back on the show. Co-host for Women in Cyber Month. Not in my realm of expertise, but a lot of purview stuff as it relates to Security Copilot and the skills built into it, as well as getting purview into Sentinel. So that's been doing that. What else have I been doing? Oh, there's a lab that Heike put out that I've been trying to get hydrated. So we did that. I think you and I got into the lab quite a bit last week as we were building it out, permissioning and Security Copilot stuff. So I'm still working on that stuff. And playing around with a couple of announcements that are not net new. We'll put them in the show notes. Security Copilot is now available in Microsoft Entra. So if you have the right SKUs and you have Copilot provision, you'll see in these portals, you'll see in the upper right most of the time, you'll see the Copilot button. And I've had some questions. People say, well, which Copilot is that? Right. And the crazy part about it is a couple of the folks that told me they saw it swore me down that they did not enable Security Copilot in the environment. So it seems like that work manifests in certain portals, not because it's enabled, because we did some testing around and I saw what the customer was saying. When he clicked on it, nothing came up. You are not provisioned to be able to do this work. One customer clicked on it and Copilot turned on and he was able to prompt. Why is that problematic? Because he doesn't remember enabling the SCUs to do it. Somebody went and did it. I said, you need to look through the audit logs to see who did that.
Yeah, you have to look at the Azure Monitor audit logs, not the audit logs you turn on in Security Copilot, because that's just
right. Because the first thing I did was take one of the prompts out of your Git and I ran it and I'm like, it doesn't work that way. This is post deployment. And so I got around that a little bit. And one more thing that you and I did, we did Entra.
So I have a plugin for that, by the way, if you want to use it, that tells you who enabled or turned on Security Copilot.
I did it. And I figured out how to do it just inside the Azure activity logs too. So I wrote a KQL query and you can.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want customers to pay literally as much as they can for Security Copilot. So you can just use Security Copilot, see what Security Copilot's doing.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. I did that. I'm gonna finish the lab up that you and I are working on. Chitty chatted with Noodle for a minute. Him and I are gonna do some Cribble stuff toward the end of the week. and I did something else, and it ate my time up, and I cannot remember what it is that I did. But it was so we did the lab, we did Entra, we did Purview, we talked about the lab, he's building out. I'm hydrating that, and something else I don't remember. So I actually a pretty busy week last week. I got a spreadsheet that can predict pricing of a sort, but that's for SEU consumption. And then you and I cannot make heads or tails of why your security copilot consumption is much flatter than mine. Oh yeah, we set up some cost analysis alerts. That's what you and I did. So we get these alerts when they hit these things, right?
What are you talking about? I thought I told everyone I didn't do anything technical, but you're right. We did work on that.
A lot last week. We've been doing this. So that was a good week. So with the show announcements, public preview, Entra, you will see the Copilot button. Doesn't mean it's enabled. You click on it, it will let you know that someone's provisioned it. Also, something that's sort of old, but I thought was worth mentioning, that the new Amazon ransomware attack recovery without possible payment that's going on. I read about that last week or the week before. I missed the show last week, and something just came up. This is something that came up in January, and they're doing an update for it. I put it in the show notes. I'll put it here. Copy and put it here. That was a good read. And that's about it. A couple of things I did I can't talk about, but and the
because you don't know how to, because you don't know how to. Ray, you're on. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know how to. That's yeah. I know where you're going. I don't know how to. Yeah. Ray, what'd you do?
Oh goodness. Well, let's see. Lots of work. So work on the work front. We're putting together the February webinar. I'll start there, and then you'll see another familiar face as a co-host, thanks to Sam Gardner's encouragement. She said, because it's usually me and somebody else, and the somebody else, like they're bogged down with other stuff, but Defender experts really, they're like, hey, I can't do it. So Sam's like, why don't you get one of the dude bros from the podcast? So she's a big fan. She was on the show multiple times, and Brody volunteered himself. He said, hey, if anybody needs I can do it. So Brody's going to participate. He's going to be a co-host on the February webinar. And then we had conversations around the team and I, Defender experts, had conversations around the security Copilot plugin, which Rod, your demo, your walkthrough has been instrumental and is super famous in helping get the word out with
what did I do? I don't know what I did.
Your walkthrough, your overview of the community plugin that combined the power of Security Copilot with Defender experts insights.
Okay,
huge splash. And now we're working to hydrate it further, or essentially like add more content to it. And there's a push now to have a first party plugin baked in experience. So working on that. I completed the RFPs that we had. So way to go to me. P is a party that I was crying at. It's my party. I can cry if I want to, and I did. It was very painful, the whole process. But that's woo, good there. Lots of other stuff for folks onboarding, and then there's an initiative to have everybody be a little bit dangerous with MDE. So whereas I'm the expert of Defender experts, which is the first party MXDR service. Now I'm learning to have a bit more of a technical chops for Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and that's been really exciting and rewarding. So more to come there. And then I had lots of work around my capstone to finally complete my third master's in cyber operations. So just parties up and down, right?
Do you get colored belts for each of your accomplishments, kind of like karate?
To get a Pandora's bracelet.
Could you imagine? I've never gone to any of my graduations because I don't like those things.
You don't like bragging. You don't like bragging in front of people.
No, not really. Like, unless I'm like making money from it, I don't want. I'm so
Well, speaking of you remind me of something. Right? You said Dex. I can't get away from Dex. Not that I want to, but I recorded our 7th video in the Defender Expert series with Satchin. So we had Michael Learborn on, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should have said that. It's a little late now, but we got 3 more to do. But I suspect it'll probably come past your desk ready to get a cut on it. I think we can look at some outside review of it. I suggested that happen, that we need to get some people to help refine it because your fireside chat stuff is really good. And on that plugin for what Rod had, I may have an addition to that. I'm working on something that can work with the deck stuff. That's why we're trying to get this lab finished.
Yes.
So
we got to include Sam Gardner. I've been trying to get Sam. I was telling Sam she needs to do her own podcast, and she told me to leave her alone. And then I said you need to create because I took a break off social media because I so much stuff happening. So just for the month, I'm trying to get this capstone done. And I was like, Sam, you need to have a social media account, like just have a LinkedIn profile. And she's like, please stop. You need to do these things. So if you can help, you just like get that message to her, but include us in the conversation, and you got all the firepower from Dex that you need to make this a reality.
Yeah, I got to call Samantha here about another thing that we're doing. So I got a note. I'm glad you said that. And one last thing I did last week. I don't know what it was. Why I had memory lapses. I'm beating my bald head against the wall trying to get the Cisco eStreamer and FTD connected to Sentinel to pipe data over, and it doesn't work. And we end up having to remove the AMA agent and go back to OMS, the legacy agent. That was the only way. Yeah, and so I'm like, I'm not going to write these parsons. We'll go back to the legacy agent, and then until PG gets it done. So I did
going back to Windows XP.
It works.
Yeah, it works, especially in airports. Yeah.
All the time. So we got the customer going. They're able to get data in, but this is a Cisco mess up. We can talk about that later. So that's it. So we got hey, Brody decided to show up.
Brody's here. We're like 20 after though. We do have a guest.
Yep, we need to get a guest in. Brody just had to talk.
Hi.
And Brody is not the guest, but we do love Brody. Yeah,
thank you.
We do love Brody, but he's not our guest. Brody's here. It's hit or miss these days. We're all just sort of busy. I have to tell you, before we bring on our guest, this has been the busiest first half of the year I've been involved in a long time. That's all good. It's really good. Makes time go super quick, but
and time is the construct created by humans to pass natural phenomena. Time is not real.
Yes, time is an illusion. I love it, Edward, when you get into your physics bag. You're like, you studied physics at like graduate level, right? Like you're physics, like you like this is what you got your degrees in. Like I always love it. Do more.
The reason my mind went to it, I did something I had not done. I actually watched the movie Interstellar for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Never seen the movie.
Is that the one with
Matthew McConaughey? Yeah,
that's right. Where he ends up in a library at the end.
Yes, that's a key part of the movie right there.
That movie just went in the wrong direction. That movie was like my brain. It just went in the wrong direction right at the end. Yep.
Yes. But hey, we'll get Brody after the thing to ask what he's been doing outside of golfing and snowboarding. But let's get our guest on. And Sergey.
Good day, Sergey. You're on mute. I can unmute you if you'd like, but you're
hello.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely can hear you. Yeah, and everybody, I was just so those that are live right now with us, our audience, there was some question whether or not the audio is working. It seems to be working for everybody except for Steven or Steven.
I can hear you.
Yeah, so maybe Steven reboot or go back to Windows XP like we were talking about.
Yes, but anyway.
Most secure OS on the planet, I bet.
Wow, I missed an important conversation.
Well,
Sergey, like is this like sensory deprivation situation we have? Like it's almost like very soothing, but also like is it just space? Like what's
I
happening?
like what he's done with that.
I like it. Okay, all right.
Nice green screen guy.
Another case. If I use that one, I have two shadows, so it looks a bit weird. So I prefer to be a ninja.
I love it.
So,
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah.
And I was about to say, everybody got the darkened room except for me and Brody. We're all bright, and Ray had a seductive cyber lounge that you come in.
Why is that? Like, why does everybody when they describe me, they're like vaguely demonic? What is it? Tell me what it is so that I can hide it better, please.
No.
Ray, I can't come to your blood sacrifice tonight, just so you know.
We'll get it going. You know, in the name of the evil demon knowledge. Here we go.
Yeah.
Knowledge. Sergey, well, sir,
Yes.
it is good to meet you visually. We've been all over LinkedIn talking, and I missed you when you came on this side of the pond. I won't miss you the next time you come over. And then when I come over that side, we'll go do dinner or something on that line. But to the audience, I'd like to introduce Sergey. Sergey is a prominent incident responder, offensive genius when it comes to cybersecurity, as well as an artificial intelligence guru when it talks about using AI in everyday cybersecurity operations, particularly incident response. Sergey, would you like to do a better introduction of yourself and what you're going to talk about today? Because I tried.
Rod knows me pretty well.
I didn't want to mention anything. Edward likes to feel important, so
I know, right? So there you go. So, Rod, are you going to do the introduction to something?
No. Sergey can introduce himself. I'll have to tell you this: him and I we've been good friends for a while, but we presented together at many conferences. In fact, I think I'll see you in Europe in May. June, and I'll see you in May for sure, but I think maybe in June as well. But I always refer to him as the Russian hacker. But he doesn't live in Russia anymore, so he's not really Russian. I think he moved your family.
I am. He's Russian.
What? You moved back?
No, but he's Russian.
I'm Russian.
He's just relocated.
Yeah.
Look, at whole my life, I travel all around the world. So how do you want to call me in that case?
Just my
everywhere.
Friend. How about that?
Global nation.
Yes.
Global nation. Citizen of the earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sergey, go ahead.
Rod friend sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. We'll use that. How about that?
All right. So, for a long time, I work in security, and I'm Russian. That's my burden to do some hacking. So my customers, after this WannaCry and other stuff, they started to ask about, hey, can you test that we are okay, and that we will not have this issue again. And that's where I really start to do some offensive stuff. I mean, pen test and so forth. And it became quite popular. I know, maybe because I like it and it works pretty well. And then I speak about that at the conferences. And also it pays a lot of attention because at Microsoft conferences, it's not that common to see how things can be compromised, not only how it can be protected. It also adds more motivation to people, like, oh, now I really understand why do we need this stuff. And that's how I became known. Then I'm still doing that. I'm still working offensive stuff, but now we also have a big trend in AI. And my customers ask, again, all the things I do is based on the customer request. And now my customer asks, oh, okay, so we want to implement some AI stuff because we always hear about this. What do you think about AI? How can we improve our operations? And so that's what I do now with my customers. I give them ideas how they can also use AI in security. In first of all, operations. Also, by the way, in May I'm going to present how AI can be used for when pen test, like a dark side of AI, but not this time. So today we're going to cover operations, so how we can automate the response with AI and how can we use AI in our security operations.
if I may, the dark side of AI.
Oh,
Well,
I can do that.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
look at that.
Or one by one.
I can tell
So
you
which
that.
one? I just curious. Which one? You mentioned talking about both. You kind of started with the threats and stuff, and then you talked about using AI for security. Which one is customer? Which one are customers most interested in? Is it they were scared of AI? How do we protect ourselves against it, or protect ourselves against AI that produces harmful or irresponsible responses, or do they want to use AI to help with security? Are they far enough along where they feel comfortable enough to do that? I guess.
Quite often, it depends on the customer. It depends on the customer role. Since I work a lot with the security operations centers with SOC, they ask many questions about like operations. How can we improve operations with AI? So when you work with the right team, of course, they want to know how like malware can be obfuscated with AI, make it better, undetectable, less detectable. But since my current customers that I work with, they are a lot from SOC, so they ask about operations.
So you're probably talking to, I guess, customers. So you've heard us, our intro to the show today. We're all talking about everybody except for Brody. We were all kind of talking about Security Copilot. We didn't give. I'm sorry, Brody. We just didn't give you a chance to talk about Security Copilot. It would have come up eventually, but
It's my bad.
But you're kind of taking a different approach, right? So it's not Security Copilot. You're like building your own potentially.
Yeah. So by the way, about Security Copilot, I will say a few words about Security Copilot, but I cannot compete you because you know the stuff from inside. But also, quite often I hear the feedback from customers about Security Copilot that we want to have this, and this, and it's not enough. It's not enough functionality, and so that's what. And that's where I also make this demo based on the customer request, because they want to have some kind of automation or automated response. But at this point, Security Copilot doesn't give it. So
and that's interesting. I love that perspective, because you mentioned early on going to Microsoft conferences. You and I have been to the ones, and I love the conferences where they're not recorded, because we can talk about anything. And Sergey, you're famous for hacking Microsoft products at these conferences. People don't know that, but I appreciate the perspective in talking about Security Copilot from a non-Microsoft approach, right? Because we work with this thing all day long, and we rarely get to see what other people are working with. So I'd love to see a demo or hear about what you're working on.
I'll show. Also, I'm going to show my Security Copilot. I'm not going to focus much on Security Copilot, but I will show it in the area where I have many incidents generated, where I simulate like a full cyber attack already. So I already have a number of incidents. Number of incidents, and with a bunch of alerts. And we can see how Security Copilot can deal with this incident. But then I will show you many other things that are not really related to Security Copilot, but related to AI.
Awesome. Any other questions for Sergey before he jumps in and
let that man work? Show me what you got, Sergey. Sergey's on the offense. I'm on the defense. Let's go.
So should I share my screen?
Yes. Get the little present button down at the bottom.
Yeah. Just give me a chance to find the right screen.
Yeah, just make sure you share the correct screen. We don't want to see anything weird.
That's my working PC, so there's nothing weird here, only security stuff.
Okay.
All right, you should be able to see my just wallpaper, right?
Yeah.
And if I run slides, you should be able to see slide, right?
Yes.
My handmade slide with your logo.
Yes.
I love
I like
that.
it a lot. That's
by the way,
we'll accept the check for the trademark usage. Thank you.
Shame on you. You didn't give me any templates, so I had to create myself.
Oh, he doesn't have our PowerPoint templates, which I didn't know we had. Gee.
Now we have to pay him for the licensing for this. So there you go.
Yeah. Sergey, thank you for volunteering to take care of our PowerPoint deck template.
The designer built into PowerPoint also helps a lot. Copilot built in PowerPoint helps a lot.
Copilot does it. Yeah.
I just need to drag the picture, and then it will do all the work for me. All right. So now I can just start talking, right?
Yes.
Or presented. All right, so we're going to cover here AI-powered security, enhancing incident response with Azure OpenAI. So here again, I'm not going to talk too much about a Copilot, that like a solution that already like available. Like probably heard many times about security Copilot. But mostly I would like to focus on Azure OpenAI, which is like maybe like your next step after you start working with AI for security in your company. Let me say, first of all, like just show a quick slide about like me. I'm a consultant, instructor, conference speaker, Microsoft Most Valuable Professional or MVP shortly. I also have many, I think I have almost all offensive certificates, like the most well-known OSCP, but I have many others. Also Microsoft Certified Trainer. And if you want to find me on LinkedIn, here's the URL. It's not a really big deal to find me. Or just use my first name and last name. Just type it in Google. You'll find my LinkedIn and other pages. All right. So what I'm going to do in the next probably hour or so, I'm going to show you a few ways to how can you use AI in your security operations. And we'll start from really Copilot. But I will show you two kind of Copilots. First of all, Microsoft 365 Copilot, how it can be used in security. And then, of course, Security Copilot. But again, it will just to warm up. And then we're going to jump into OpenAI and Azure Foundry. So that's where I would like to show you like how can you start working with OpenAI, Azure OpenAI in your company, for security at least. Then I'm going to show you how to automate the response. So I'm going to generate incident, and then we'll see how the response can be automated with OpenAI. After this, we're going to enhance the response, because in the previous step, the response will be given only from the model, from large language model, but we can make it better. We can make it better. We can make it more relevant if we use Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG shortly. And finally, the basic model I'm going to use is not always consistent with my security request, and then we're going to fine-tune the model to make it work, to make it better. You'll see all that stuff. So you'll see it. We'll also fine-tune the model to make a response more accurate. All right, so that's the plan. By the way, I can also hear some side noises. Will you ask any questions during the session, or?
We might. It just really depends on how excited we get. I think Brody really wants to ask a question right now.
I'm always excited, but I'm not ready to ask a question at this moment.
All right. So no. The answer is no. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if there are no questions, then you're not excited. I got it.
No. What's the persona? So two questions. Do you want? Is it okay for us to ask questions to chime in as you're presenting, because we don't want to like interrupt the flow?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, because you're a seasoned pro. You got it. And then the question, like, I was thinking through, what's the persona that we're supposed to be like wearing the hat for as we go through the different scenarios or the situations that you're going to showcase?
So you're maybe SOC analyst and so forth. So you work in SOC mostly. So again, it's about security operations.
Okay, thank you.
There's only one thing about like if you ask questions, am I limited in time or like?
Not really. We generally kind of schedule these episodes out to about an hour and a half, and we still have like an hour to go. So it's really up to you.
Okay.
There is no end. Ray may have to drop off a little early potentially, and maybe even Brody, because they have kids to take care of. So
got it.
But, yeah.
So then, for me, I will not also stay too late because it's like 10:30 in my time zone. All right, so let's
talk real
started.
fast. How about that?
Yeah, let's start demos. First will be Copilot, where we don't need to really. So let's start for simple Copilot, and we'll take Copilot Chat and Copilot Security Copilot. Let's start from something free, which is Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. So Copilot chat is like, you may think of this like a chat GPT or Copilot in your browser, whatever. So it's Copilot chat, but there's a one nuance. So this is just a chat, but this chat is available for your company. And if you sign in with your corporate credentials to this chat, then your data will be protected. And then you can really post something a bit more sensitive. Because if you probably don't want to send your like scripts and logs into ChatGPT and so on, because it will be used to train the model. The data will be also sent to OpenAI. But in case if you sign into the Microsoft 365 Copilot chat with your corporate account, even if you don't have a license for Copilot for Microsoft 365 Copilot, you just log into the chat with your corporate credentials, and you have a free chat. And you can ask different security questions in that chat. So you just need to go to copilot.microsoft.com and log in with your Entra account. Again, you can log in even with your personal account, but in this case, you should not really use it with some kind of sensitive information. And what you can do in this Microsoft 365 Copilot chat, you can use it for different purposes. For example, if you're like SOC analyst and you're analyzing the script, you're trying to understand what the script is doing, you can ask Copilot like, okay, what the script is all about, and much quicker Copilot will find it for you. Or you may upload your logs if you have some kind of like several logs in CSV file, and then you just upload the logs, and you may ask like, what happened here, and Copilot will be able to analyze your logs and tell pretty quickly what's going on. You can also upload some documents and ask like what I can improve in my policies, what I can improve in this report. You can even ask to create some kind of training for users, what users should know to stay safe. Let me quickly show you this demo again. Oh, by the way, one thing I didn't mention, I really like live demos, and I always prefer to show live demos if I can.
So we love live demos too, by the way.
Love them.
So we should mention before you jump into that, because our largest audience is actually podcast or audio podcasts. So for those that are listening in, there's a lot to see here. So come back and watch the live replay so you can see all Sergey's demos. There you go.
Good. Thank you. All right. So let's start from this basic Copilot absolutely free. So look here. I logged in with my Entra account. And when you sign in with your Entra account, you will see here like a small green shield. If you click on this, you will find that your data you are using here, Copilot using Enterprise Data Protection. So if you click on that, you can find that we secure your data is private, blah, blah, blah. The most important here, you can read it, of course, yourself. So your data isn't used to train foundation models. So your data that you're going to send this Copilot into this chat should not be used for any training purposes, and so it should not leave your tenant.
So this is the difference between, let's say, Copilot and DeepSeek, because DeepSeek does use your data to train its model. So there you go.
Even if you ChatGPT, it will also use your data.
Yeah.
All right. So let's try that. Let me first show you. Where's my Visual Studio Code? Here we go. Let me quickly show you PowerShell script like this, and like how long will it take for you to understand what's going on with this, like what the script is doing? Of course, depends on your skills. You may understand in a couple of minutes. Someone may might take hours or days to figure out what it's that. But if I ask Copilot, explain this script. Look at this. Really, really, really quick. So first of all, it broke down the script to different parts and explained each part separately. Like here we set security protocol, here we define XOR key, so it's like some kind of encryption. here we also fetch base64 string and so forth. If I scroll all the way down, it also gives me a summary. So in summary, this script securely fetches base64 encoded string from a remote server, decodes and decrypts it using XOR operation, and then execute the resultant PowerShell code and execute the resultant PowerShell code. So it was quick. And even if I'm an experienced analyst, Copilot still can do it quicker. Of course, I need to understand it. It's a general rule for working with AI. You need to know the stuff yourself anyway. Otherwise, if Copilot AI hallucinate and gives you your own answer, you will never know it unless you really understand the stuff. So you need to know the stuff anyway. But Copilot can save a lot of time and can even correct something that you may miss. All right, so now we understood that this script is downloading some kind of code. Let me open this file that I already downloaded this file. Let's take a look what's inside. Let me drag back my Visual Studio Code. And here we have this kind of gibberish. What I would like to do, I would like to find CyberChef, place that input. I know it was base64 encoded, and I know it was XOR encrypted. So let's find out XOR. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code and find other pieces in my script. So I know that the key is, I can ask Copilot, by the way. But anyway, so let's take the key here. Let's take key. And the key was UTF. All right, so look at this. Now we have visuals, some kind of C# code. And now let me open that new tab. Kind of long code. So now it will take even longer to understand what this code is doing. And you really need to be quite proficient in reading C# code. Let me try to save some time on this. I can try copy and paste, but probably this time Copilot will not allow me to put that much of data. Let me try. No, it's fine. I can try. So let's say explain this code. Oops. Okay, let's try again, copy.
That's pretty cool. You're going to run it from a web repository so you leave no artifacts in the app cache.
Let's see. Not the most prettiest. So much better here would be just to upload the code as the file, but in chat it's still working. So let's see. So it broke this code down, and let's see the summary. So in summary, it says it makes code injection. So script injects shellcode into Notepad process and execute it. Logs matches command output to file, and also makes reconnaissance, enumerates network sessions on the main controllers. That was really quick. And even for experienced developers, it would take much longer just to understand what this code is doing.
Yeah, because you'd have to go through and try to figure out the PPIDs and the parent processes.
Yep, exactly. So, okay, so that is about Copilot, and the beauty of that, again, it's free. We love free stuff. And also, by the way, I think I hear a feedback from your microphone. I think so. It's my waves. All right, thank you. So you may start from this. If you want to bring some AI and you found something that you maybe understand it, or don't understand, you should understand it in general. But if you don't understand completely, or you want to save a lot of time, start to use just a free Copilot chat. But don't forget to log in with your corporate credentials. Otherwise, your data will be also used for something that you probably don't want to be used for. All right, let me move on to the next slide from here. And the next option is called Security Copilot. If you are not the first time on the Security podcast, you probably heard and saw many Security Copilot demos. I would like to say here that the price is pricey. It's pricey. So you need to pay like $3,000+ per month for the work in Security Copilot. But again, I'm not going to really compete with other guys that show you
unless you're me. For some reason, I only pay like $250 a month, and I'm not special.
Well, you are special.
Edward and I are trying to figure it out, but we can't.
You remove it, right? After usage.
No, I'm 24. I'm 24/7.
We're figuring it out. We're running some diagnostics. We'll have an answer.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be too vocal about it in the event that they start charging me $3,000 a month.
This doesn't help. Continue, Sergey.
Go ahead.
Okay. I can tell a quick story. One of my friends, he was MVP, and then he started to work for Microsoft. But Microsoft forgot to revoke his MVP, and so for a couple of years he was MVP. He continued to be MVP, and then he started to make fun of that. Like at the conference, start to say, "Hey, like I'm work for Microsoft, I'm still MVP," and on the next day he lost MVP.
See,
so Rod.
Yeah, it happens. You got to be careful. Yeah.
All right, so I already deployed Security Copilot. Let me move to my XDR. And I'm gonna open my incidents. And here I have incident that I generate myself. I simulated. It has 78 alerts. And this incident will be pretty complicated for investigation. Houston. Can I ask you to mute your microphones because there's some. I got
it. I got it. I can control it from this side too. So go ahead.
Good. Thanks. So here we have incident with bunch of alerts, and as soon as I open, this incident, I can see guide response. It generates guide response for me. It generates also summaries. And what do I like about this? So this incident was made by me as the part of the pen test demonstration. And here, Security Copilot was able to detect that it wasn't really the real incident. It was informational expected activity. So it was able to detect that that's a false positive. And so it says that you need to classify it as something like informational expected, like security testing, which is nice. I like this intelligence. Also, it says that I need to ask user to contact on Teams, and also I made some containment myself before, and also it was attack disruption, but from XDR, it was also counted as containment. It wasn't able to contain this device because I turned off. Reset password for John Doe, reset disable account from msmith. So it gives me a number of recommendations, and also I can find that it makes also incident summary. So now those 78 alert, I still need to go through those alerts. But if I want to quickly check what happened here, I can just go to summary and find out maybe 10 steps rather than 78. So now just tell me that first incident began at this time and on this machine, on this user, and the PowerShell was involved, and the reverse shell was received from the file saved today, and so forth. So it makes this incident not. If we need to investigate, we still need to go through alerts. But now I can quickly understand what happened in general, and then I can make some assumptions during the investigation. And let's go to alerts. Let me scroll all the way down to the bottom and start from TCP shell. So here I can see first PowerShell command that was used. Let me click on Analyze button, and now start to generate information about this command.
Hey, Sergey, we got one little question before we move on. Noodle asks for clarification. How did it know that it was a pen test? Did you carry out the simulation from the same IP you normally log from?
Ask Copilot. Honestly, my guess Wait a second. Let me open it again. And my guess is that it was just too much. So it doesn't look like an attacker behavior. So first of all, I started like a normal attacker. So I get into the machine, I receive a reverse shell, then I continue with enumeration. Start look for passwords in files. Also look for passwords in the web browser cache, in the emails, in the registry. And then when I start the tool with WinPS, it detected this and broke my session. Broke my connection. And so I did that first, and also I got some credentials of user. And after that, I switched to different activity. I start to show how to bypass antivirus, how to bypass different whitelisting. It didn't really look like a straight line, like a typical attacker behavior. So yes, separate techniques were detected as attacker behavior, but altogether they really look like a test. So it probably analyzed all the stuff because I didn't do anything on purpose. I just demonstrate what might happen.
Do you think that you responded to one of the incidents manually as informational, so it remembered that and correlated it for it?
Nope, I didn't touch it.
Okay.
It's all based on the alerts, all based on the generated alerts, and also artifacts, rather than any of my actions with this incident. I did not manage incidents. I didn't even classify it. So manage incident, I didn't touch anything here. So all that stuff was made automatically. So there no one was assigned. Status is default, no classification. So I didn't touch it. It was done based on my alerts, my activity, and again, so because I had so much stuff, which is not really typical. If you ever had like red team engagement, you know that number of alerts is much lower, and like you may like in the red team engagement, you may find like a couple of alerts, like 3-5 alerts, rather than 78. So here it was just because it was too much, and also less structured, because first I used the kill chain, like from the beginning to the end, and then after that, based on the customer request, I just show, look, what you can. That's how attacker can bypass antivirus. That's how they can bypass app blocker and so forth. And so because it was that unstructured and too much, probably made the decision about informational. All right, so let me go back to alerts. Okay. So here we found script analysis, and it says that what the script is doing. I can also find out the next script. Also, it says that command bypass execution policy to run unrestricted scripts, which it also found that I bypassed the execution policy. Let me also find the content of the script. And we can do the same about the script content. So it will make analysis and find out what the script is doing. The only thing that I would say here, if you don't pay for Security Copilot, you can still copy that stuff, paste into this chat window, and ask to explain, like I did before. And so it will be pretty much the same. Explain this module. Explain this module. And it will do pretty much the same in the Copilot chat. Yeah, maybe Security Copilot is a bit more convenient. What's going on? I'm running out of money, maybe. So
ran out of this.
You ran out of SCU.
There you go.
Yeah. So it may be a bit more convenient than Copilot for security because just a built-in. But again, the script analysis can be just copy and paste it. Yeah. So now it's working.
There you go.
It tells me.
We should rename that. Probably rebrand it to Sergey Compute Units. It's a little slower.
S is fine. Yeah. If I get any percentage from using my name. By the way, even if I have small percentage from Security Copilot, it will be a lot of money. Okay, so let me jump back to slides. Again, as I said before, I'm not going to talk too much about copilots and security copilot and so forth, because you probably did it many times. And I would like to move to the next level, when you can use Azure OpenAI and use some kind of use OpenAI models for your own needs, including incident response. So now I'm gonna move from typical convenient Copilot to something that may be less convenient, less typical for security engineers, for operation analysts. I'm going to work a bit with Azure Foundry. So what Azure Foundry is? Azure Foundry is a platform where Microsoft helps developers create, manage, and deploy AI applications easily. Honestly, it's not very complicated. Yeah, there are some stuff that you may need to do, like if you create a prompt flow, complicate prompt flow, you must also know Python. But in our case, we don't need to do it, and the prompt flow that we may need in our case also is just, there's a template, you can just deploy it from the template. So in our case, it won't be that complicated. So let me quickly move back to demo and open AI Foundry. By the way, what I need to do first, I need to deploy Azure OpenAI object. So I have two of them. OpenAI. And here I need to click Explore Azure AI Foundry portal. That's it. So it will take me here where I'm going to find my Azure OpenAI service and the endpoint with API keys. We will use them later on to trigger our model. But first, we don't have any model. At this point, we may not have any models, so I need to first deploy model from catalog. So here's the catalog of OpenAI models, just in case. It's not the whole catalog. If you use Azure Foundry with something else, with not OpenAI, but with Meta, there are other models like Meta and from other companies. So it's not really limited to only OpenAI. But here, because I'm using OpenAI, I see only OpenAI models. Okay, just in case, because I remember sometimes I show to customers Azure Foundry, and they were like, "Hey, come on! We have thousands of models in the world. Go to the Hugging Face, and you will find a bunch of models. Why there's some limited here?" Here we can see only OpenAI models. If you want to have more, create project in AI Foundry, and you will find all possible models. But for now, I would like to work only with GPT-4o models, so it's from OpenAI. So I need to choose the model from catalog. Let me choose GPT-4o.
So why are you choosing that one? You may explain it coming up, but is that the most current, or is there some functionality there that you like better than the others?
GPT-4o model, that's the most, maybe not the most, maybe not the cheapest model, but it has it trained based on the large amount of data. And so GPT-4o model knows a lot, and at this point is the most well-trained model that OpenAI has, the well-trained generic model. Yeah, of course, we have some specialized model for specific purposes, but for GPT-4o is the most well-trained model, trained on the bunch of information, and it knows a lot about security as well.
Cool. Got it.
So here, I just need to deploy the model, and that's it. And the model is deployed here. And I have deployment. Again, I just need to click one button, deploy. And then now I have deployment GPT-4o, where I can just use it. At this point, it will be really like a Copilot chat, like I showed you before. I can try that. I can use the script, some kind of script, or let's take something simple. Let me take this script. It should give me quite similar response. So again, as I said before, it's quite similar because Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is based on the same model, GPT-4o, so the response is also quite similar. At this point, you may say, why are we doing this if we have Copilot? Just hold on, you'll see it. I just want to give you a quick introduction into AI Foundry and how can we make some basic operations. Also, what I can do here, I can add content filters. Have you ever tried to do some weird stuff in your AI model? For example, show me dead bodies. And
Edward would never, per Edward's original mention in the beginning of the show, staunchly opposed.
Okay. So here it says well, I'm not going to do it. And again, I can ask many things about I can even ask some sensitive things about American election and who is your preferred candidate, and probably it will say, no, I don't want to talk about this. All right, so you can configure filters here as well. You can configure your own filters. So there are filters for violence, hate, sexual, self-harm, also for some different attacks on AI, like jailbreak, indirect attacks, and so forth. You can also create your own list of words that you want to block. So you need to first create a list here, block list. And add the words you would like to block. It may be exact word, it may be regular expression, so you can do that. Okay, so that's what we can do here in AI Foundry. There are many other things available, and I will show you a few more of them. But for now, we just need to deploy the model, take this deployment, and do something else with this on the next stage. All right, so AI Foundry is not really scary. Again, if you're a developer, of course, you can do much more. But for our security purposes, for security operations, that will be enough. And so the next step, I would like to really use it for automation and how I'm going to automate it. So what we can do, we can integrate our OpenAI service into our SOC, and we'll be able to use AI to analyze our incidents and also take some steps. You can develop your own application if you want, but the easiest way to do it, especially if you're working security and security operations, you probably made a bunch of playbooks in Sentinel, right? I can ask you, so you may say yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the easiest way to do so, the easiest way to integrate, if you're already experienced in Logic Apps and playbooks, Logic App, whatever, is to build a Logic App. And Logic App will be able to trigger your OpenAI model, so it will be able to send data to OpenAI, receive the response, and take actions based on the response from OpenAI. And so what I would like to do now, because it will take some time to generate incident and trigger the mod and trigger my Logic App, what I would like to do now, I would like to drop malware on this workstation and continue talking. And so in parallel, in the background, it will make a detection. So it will take a few minutes before everything will be done. So let me copy netcat, drop it to this machine, antivirus react. In a few minutes, we should be able to see incident, alert, and then it will also trigger my Logic App. And by the way, my Logic App is based on the standard model, on standard GPT-4o model, not fine-tuned. And so the response may not be very accurate, and the automated response may not work as expected. And that will also, I'm going to solve during the session. It may work, may not. Anyway, it will be a nice demo, but we'll see. All right, so from here, I would like to jump the next slide. Oh, by the way, for GPT-4o model, if you deploy model, you need to pay a bit. So you need to pay for Logic App. It's not very expensive, but You need to build for it. You also need to build for the tokens of GPT-4o model. So for input and output. But again, it may be quite pricey if you send like terabytes of data to your model. But it's not the case. It's not the case. If you want to just send information about your incident, it won't be that expensive. It won't be that much. Okay, and now finally, let me show you how the logic app may look like, and then I will jump to my portal and show you the logic app. So I try to make it simple. When you build the real logic app, of course you will add more steps. You may also add approval. You may also add filter. You should add filter. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible to fit on a single screen. So I really add only very important steps, like mandatory steps. So my logic app starts from XDR alerts. It may be something else. Maybe your incident and Sentinel. So you may use other triggers. It's not only about XDR alerts. In my case, it's XDR. And so for each alert, I make a request to my model. Response will be in JSON format, so I need to parse JSON. Then the next step, compose. This one is really optional. It's really nice for troubleshooting, but I will really want to see what was the output with compose. And then I made a condition. So what is condition, you'll see. But if condition is true, then I can isolate machine from the network automatically. So now let's take a look what this logic app is all about. And by the way, is it enabled yet? Is it enabled? So on all new alerts, for each alert, I will make this kind of request. By the way, I will change the key after the session, so don't try.
That was gonna be what I was gonna do for dinner.
So I'm using this information. By the way, where you can take this information from? So if you look at your GPT model, so it's here. The key is not shown, but here's the URI, and I can also copy the key. So that's where information is coming from. And now I need to send some kind of the message. And the message contains several components. First of all, I must set up the system message, system role. System role, that's like a role that my AI will have. In my case, I say, you are an incident response expert. Your role will be to provide guidance on incident response and recovery techniques to mitigate potential risk. Your response should have this structure: incident summary, containment, should I isolate device from the network, and yes or no, and recovery. And also what is important here, yes and no, they are between these two hash signs. So that's the system message. Just in case, do I need to explain a bit more details about system message? Like,
I don't think so. Maybe we could. I'll try to include some links on how those are formatted potentially in the show notes. So.
Okay, let me just give you a simple example. So what I mean, I just want to show what simple message, system messages. Okay. You are Yoda. Speak like Yoda. So, and all the responses from my model now will be based on this. Now let's ask if this model knows about you. Who is $1 million man? A wrestler he is. I'm not sure that's the...
No, I don't know. $6 million man. How about that?
Oh, $6 million man. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad, Rod.
You're disappointing me, Sergey.
I'm not that old. Come on.
Yeah, nobody is, Sergey. Nobody's that old.
Yeah.
Who is
How long have we known each other? Oh my goodness. I've shared Pop-Tarts with you, Sergey.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't like it. It was too sweet. Okay, so is it correct? And now it's talking really like Yoda, rebuilt with bionic parts he was, enhanced strength, speed, and vision he possessed, and so forth. And even if I ask, what is your name? Your name. Yoda, my name is Jedi Master I am. So we set up here a role, and in my logic app, the role will be you are an incident response expert. Okay, and then the actual message, that's the message that I'm sent, like who is the $6 million man and so forth. And here I'm using logic app again. If you are security experts, you know how to build this playbooks. You know that we use these dynamic fields and add alert title and alert description. So then I need to parse the response. In Compose, I can just see the output, like message content will be very handy to see what happened. What is next condition? In my condition, I'm saying here, if message content contains yes, so it means I need to isolate machine from the network, like part of my response, it will get information about alert, isolate machine from the network, and also place information about from the message content into commentary of the incident. I guess now we have some kind of already something. Let's click refresh here. Succeed. Let's see the result. For each condition. But it wasn't isolated. Let's see why. So now we have the let's see Compose. Oh, let's see first of all HTTP request. So that was a system message, and content netcat tool was prevented, and that's what was sent. Let's see what was the response. So incident summary, nice. Containment, good. Should I isolate from the network? And look at this. So that's a bit of shame of the basic model of GPT model. Even if I ask like add a response between those hash symbols, it still gave me between asterisk. And because my condition is based on the hash keys, it did not work. So it did not isolate the machine. Of course, you may say, of course, I can make a much better condition. I don't have to, based on these hash keys and so forth, I can make it better. But I'm using this as a part of the demo. How can we also improve the model in the future? All right. So now we received the response, but my automation did not work. I mean, automation did work, but I did not receive. I did not isolate the machine because of this not very accurate response. Not very accurate response. And that's what we're going to improve our response soon. Okay.
Well, just thinking as well, since it was detected and taken care of, it probably doesn't need to be isolated anyway, right?
So here it did not explain why, but I can explain why. So it should be considered. First of all, this logic app is very simplified because I remove all steps that are optional. So I don't look for severity, because you definitely should check severity. You don't need to isolate every time when we have low severity alerts. But I can explain why in case of netcat it may be useful to isolate, because if netcat was removed, netcat is used to drop establish reverse shell. So maybe attacker was able, if the netcat was detected, then attacker tried to establish reverse shell at least. And if attacker tried to establish reverse shell, maybe he adds some other backdoors other than netcat. So if because netcat is used as a tool for remote access, maybe attacker was able to get access somehow, and then add something else for establishing a reverse shell. So you still need to check this machine.
In the famous words of incident people, if you have one, you have none. If you have two, you have one. Because once I detect one outward bound or C2 mechanism, the attacker is immediately going to go to their backup, right? Because now they're on to you.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but this one is really basic that you can use, and this one is very cheap and very straightforward. We can make it better, but even in this case, if you create more accurate logic up, because again, in my case, I was trying to make logic up simple to fit on the single screen. But again, you add more filters. You only react on the high severity alerts. You can also add some approvals if you want. You can send approval message. So you can add more steps for more verifications and more options. But even here, it's not too bad. And of course, you can make a much better condition, not really rely on the those like hash symbols.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was just thinking the other, logic app is another cost, but that is minuscule. So it's like 1,000th of a cent every time you run a logic app, right? So not only are you running a logic app, but you're also running a lower cost AI model to get that information, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
But it's not really not big money at all, because you probably don't have instance on every minute and every minute. Of course, depends on your stock. It depends on your stock, of course. It depends on your stock.
Right.
Depends. All right, but let's take it to the next level. Since we have like probably 15 more minutes, I guess. Let me just take it to the next level. So next level could be so now all the response we received, we got the response from the model itself, from LLM. By the way, just in case, let me just go back for a moment. Do you know, probably you heard of that GPT-4o is limited to October of year 23rd. So it doesn't know anything about like something happened after it. So if you ask who is the president of United States, it says Joe Biden. It's still Yoda. Still Yoda.
Yoda sounds like Joe Biden. Joe Biden sounds
don't use it for news.
Yep. Right. So we are limited to only to something to the point that was in the past. But what if you have what if you have like a new malware which did not exist in October of 23rd? In that case, your LLM GPT-4o will not give you a really nice response. What we can do, we can bring more data. We can our model can get more data, can retrieve more data from internet, or in our case, our own knowledge base. So, and for that, we can use the process called RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation. So I just give one example. By the way, this example was also generated by Copilot. So example, user asked, can you tell me about the history of quantum computing? And retrieval, so the first step, it will look for the different data sources and try to gather information about this quantum computing. So then the information that was found will be added, augmented to the user prompt and sent to the model. And then model will be able to generate the response based on the overall data. So again, the response will still be generated by the model, but now we also we give more information to this model. So now now the model is not really limited to only to the data that was based for training purposes, but also you give more information to this model.
But when you start extending this RAG out, don't you start to exponentially increase the amount of hallucinations?
So it depends on quality of your data, of course, as usual. If your data is clear, then it should be even more clear for the model. If you have some contradictions, you have like one document that say that Netcat is safe, another document that says Netcat is super dangerous, then of course it may have some model may start to hallucinate more. So it depends how clear your data is. So if we want to, so again, RAG, a way to make AI response smarter and more accurate, and you can bring your own knowledge base. So here you need to pay a bit more, because for RAG, you need to deploy Azure AI Search Service, which costs money. So you deploy Azure AI Search Service, you need to create index, which is like quite straightforward. It of course depends on your data sources. And then you also need to create a prompt flow. I will not do prompt flow here, because that will be more for it will be important to do for the automated response. But I will show you example in the chat in the playground where we don't need to deploy prompt flow. Prompt flow is just like a sequence of steps that will be where RAG will be executed. So first retrieve data from the source and so forth. So I already have where's my Azure portal? I already have deployed a search service, AI search. And here I should have 0 indexes. Tell me that I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't have anything. So let's bring more data. Now I have a document. Let me quickly show you that. I have a document that says that Netcat tool is like normal tool, not really. It's like Swiss Army knife of networking. And then I even clearly say there's no need to isolate machine from the network. And I'm trying to say here that this one is okay, just a tool for networking and not really something super dangerous. Let me take this file and let me bring that data to my playground. So this time, let me just click refresh here. Now let me set our system message that we had before. One moment. Okay, so now we have a system message, and what I would like to do, I would like to paste my prompt that was generated from XDR. That's what XDR was detected, and let me just send it to basic model that we did not train. We don't have now our information. And look at this. This time it answers yes between hash. But at this moment, I will point your attention that slightly later. Now, what I would like to do, I would like to add my own data. So let me add data source. By the way, just in case I don't want to show you my folders, I don't know where it will open. Oh, not here. So later on. So let me add data source, upload files. Here I'm going to choose blob storage where this file will be uploaded, and the search that will build the index. Okay, let me give a name for it. Let's say, let's call that RAG, and click next. Now I need to upload. Let me just do it on my second screen. Yeah, that was a good idea.
So your hash is manifested because creating this reference, you gave it a source of authority.
I'm not sure if I heard everything correct.
So your hashtags are manifested inside your logic after your response because you gave it a source of authority or reference rather than it going out and having a model or having a reference. It couldn't confirm because in here I can see the hashtags, but in the other, what was there? Was it asterisks?
Yep.
Okay.
At this point, I'm not going to solve this problem. Now I would like to bring data that Netcat is safe. So not about hashes. Hash will be later. We'll play with hash later. Now what I'm doing, I'm telling to my model that Netcat is safe. And now what I would like to do, I would like to now it will quite quickly build the index, so it won't take long. That's why I'm doing that in front of you. Of course, depends how much data you have, but one file will be quite quickly indexed. And now after this, come on, dude. Okay, it's a bit longer than expected. After this, it should be able to give a response. Oh, finally. Now, if I restart this, I may not even clear the chat. Oh, it's better to. Yeah, I need to clear to flush the memory. And now it's been do the same. Now my expectation is that it must say no. You don't need to isolate because this is this tool. This tool is safe. Fingers crossed. Yeah, look at this. No. Because from the document that was retrieved, there is no need to isolate machine from network when dealing with Netcat, as long as proper security measures are in place, such as closing use ports and monitoring system activity. Again, it's not really, it's the still response from the model, but this time it also takes my knowledge as well and generate the response based on my knowledge, according to this knowledge. All right, that makes sense? So we can bridge. Yeah, go for it.
50-50-90. 50% yes, 50% no, 90% that is going to get it wrong. So what is the flipping moment that says between yes and no? What is the I can't even think of it. I just say the tertiary person, like when you have a quorum, like we used to set up clusters, right? Somebody was the voting quorum, the voting node. What's the voting node on here that tells me yes or no? Because if your document is a source of authority in this, it's going to default to no.
Sometimes I can run this prompt several times, and sometimes it explains why it makes this decision. So here it says that because of the according to document, if we made all of the appropriate stuff. Let me just remove data source, and let me restart let me send the prompt again, and now maybe it will explain why it says yes. Yeah, so it's isolating the machine from networks is precautionary measure to prevent any further unauthorized access or potential data filtration until this investigation cleanup are completed. So it usually explains why it says yes.
What you could also do is say, put a condition in that says yes if Netcat has been determined to either attempt it to install on another machine in the node, because now you may have a problem. Like, wait a minute, why on a single machine? But when you start seeing multiple machines coming from your environment, then I will go with a yes, because now I'm trying to reduce the blast radius, right? So I can say you can put a condition on the yes. If you see this activity across more than one machine, then yes, but if it's a single machine, don't isolate. Could that be a logic you could put in? Let's throw it out there.
Good question. So here we need to check if this if this guy can have access to the information how many machines were affected.
Yes.
We need to. I need to check it. I'm not sure that we can do so.
Let's save that question to April when we have our Tech Heavy month. Sneak announcement, everyone. Tech Heavy month. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So that was RAG when we bring our own data. Okay. So now what I'd like to do, I would like to run this prompt several times and find some inconsistency. So it always tells me yes in between hash. Okay, let's try again. Because you remember once it was between still like yes. Huh. Okay, try again. I mean yes, of course, but still between hash. Doesn't want to show me. Okay. Let's try to go back. Go to chat. Send again. Okay, now it's really consistent with my system message. All right, so maybe I don't even need to fine tune based on. But you saw that the problem. Yeah, every time now it's asking, saying yes between hash. Okay, I can also try to let me do something here. Like me go to another model. Send it here. Oops, sorry.
I don't think you have the indexing and the back end to clear, so it's going to keep saying yes for the amount of time I think in this, because you use the RAG. It may take up to 15 minutes before it changes.
Could be, but let's see here. Is yes again? I mean, yes. Here it's not. It must say yes. So sorry. It must say yes. That's fine. I'm okay with yes. It must say yes because we removed the data. I'm just trying I'm complaining about the fact that it always show me between this. Oh yeah, finally, look at this. So now no hash keys. So what I would like to do, let me just go back to my previous model. Maybe now it will be done the project. Clear all that stuff again. And I hope it will be now, sooner or later, it will tell me that yes will be without hash keys, still with hash keys. Okay, but sometimes it may be without hash key. So what we can do to increase the accuracy of the response, because you saw sometimes it doesn't add this hash keys. We can also fine-tune the model. So the idea of fine-tuning the model is when we add additional training data to the model, and for specific questions, it may give you better response. Not only about it's not really about the content, because to bring more content we use RAG, but fine-tune the model. We show to model how to respond to this prompt better. So if we have the system prompt like this and user prompt like this, how to respond better on this kind of prompts, and that should also may help you to remove inconsistency between system message and the response that was received. So to fine-tune the model, what we need to do, we need to bring more training data. Let me show you how it looks. It looks like this. So here I give 10 examples as the same system message that you saw before. Let me show it like this. The same system message, the same user message even. Doesn't have to be the same, but in our case it's the same. So about Netcat. But every time I give maybe it looks too large. Every time I give different response. So there's one more role called assistant. That's the response from AI, and I tell to AI how to respond to this kind of messages. And every time is different. So you can see here, improve incident procedures. It ends up on improve incident procedures. On another one, it says prevent future incidents. So they're different. But every single time, I put yes between hash keys. So I show how to respond to this kind of prompts. Now, next step is to upload this data to my OpenAI. So I'm gonna click on fine tuning. I already fine tuned the model because it takes around an hour. So for me, it took 56 minutes. So I upload this JSON document, and then I can deploy this model. This model is called FT. So the same model but fine tuned. And here I will always have consistent response. So let me try to do that. So here I will always have yes between hash keys every time. I wonder why I had the same for the previous model. It was not fine-tuned, but every time it will return me here yes between hash. It's not only about the format, of course. It also we teach how to answer this specific how to handle this kind of prompt. Let me do it one last time. Maybe we'll get some inconsistency from my original model. Still between hash keys. No, we didn't get it. Okay.
I think we just need time for the backend intelligence to clear out that reference. It's gonna come back. What I like about this though.
Okay. But that's called fine tuning. It's available in several regions. What problem with fine tuning? The hosting of fine tuned model is not as expensive like Copilot for security Copilot, but still pricey. So to host this model, after you fine tuned model, you will spend like around $1,200 per month just to host the model. So it's additional money.
Well, you got to consider too. I think people have to kind of apples to apples. It's not just the host. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah. Not just the hosting, but also it's the maintenance, maintaining, the fine tuning. What do you see as someone that needs to be in this role? Is there someone that actually needs to be in a role where they're fine tuning this model constantly to match the organization, or is there some way you could automate that potentially? Because when I think of Security Copilot, I look at, like the Defender threat intelligence that's part of it. So there's a lot of, those different signals that are automatically part of it. How would you include something like that in here? Or is that something that has to be done manually?
Yeah, there is a continual fine tuning. So if you bring data on the weekly, whatever monthly basis, it will be able to fine tune model as well on that period.
Yeah. And that's the Azure AI service, that cognitive search service, I guess.
Yep. So it's possible to do it continuously.
That makes good sense. This brings some great ideas that I have about maybe creating those for your RAG. So you're on the offensive side, and one of the things we were talking about last year. Are you familiar with the SANS organization and their different courses? I took the Forensics 508. You know what that one is. Something has happened now. I'm doing the incident, investigation because Sergey has been in an environment and we just detected him because he's been dwelling for a year. I'm wondering, with the acceptable use of their documentation, which I still keep as reference, we take some of that learning and look at that and make that part of the repository, because that particular thing is probably in the section that's talking about exploit kits, right? Mimikatz, Cobalt Strike, and a couple of others. And so now you can reference these, and now I want to put conditions on saying that if you see Netcat, and at the same time there's evidence of a kit, whether it be one of those kits, let's say that in combination with PowerShell Empire, one of those things, I definitely want a yes. I want yes, and go that route. But if I see it, and maybe I have another yes where I see some failed RDP sessions, or I see someone trying to do invoke session or PSS session at the same time, and this is just a step for them to do it. That seems very interesting to be able to take the established documentation and do it. We should have a show about that, because I'm wondering if you can take well-known references of that to help build out conditional to do that. Because you got yes and no. You were very binary. Nobody wants to be the person in the middle. What if you had hash yes / and then hash yes, and then / hash no, hash / and then maybe. It depends.
It's all about your system message. So here it's like, prompt engineering is like one of the basics of working with AI. So how you want to, again, if you say that this guy is Yoda, it will speak like Yoda. If you say like hash maybe, hash yes, it will say so. So it's all about your system prompt. What do you want to
That's super
return?
system message is maybe semi-synonymous with personality and the other word I was looking for that describes how someone speaks. So I'm thinking personality or something of disclosure. That's interesting. This is solid. I like this here. We definitely got to continue this when we go into our tech heavy session in April. We'll tell all our listeners about it, where it's going to be all demos. No lecture, be all demos. This is awesome. Sergey, this is spot on, being able to see where you can augment Security Copilot with other Copilot mechanisms to be able to do it, or build this as an understanding. I think if more listeners or more people consuming Security Copilots had enough time to actually understand the underlying of what regenerative AI and this is, you get away from the black box mentality. And now everything looks dumb because you don't understand it. You just read, but seeing this, say, okay, I understand the underlying premise of what they're trying to do with black box and the solution to make it turnkey. This is very good. We tried to do this. Well, I tried to do this. Rod and I were playing with OpenAI last year. So now I put on my notes there, put founder in our lab, Rod, and I knew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you remember, in our listeners, that silly little Rod bot chat thing I created last year. Noodle asked, "Hey, now where's the code?" He's asking Sergey for the code, but literally what Sergey did today was show you how to do this without code.
Yeah.
Right. You just kind of need to go into
what kind of code?
Well, yeah, but you can, and you could
grab all
stuff.
JSON.
It's only JSON file with a structure, system message, user message, and assistant message. That's it.
Yeah. We'll get into the details. This is part 1 of 3. We'll have to pay Sergey for his time and meals and everything when he comes over. So.
Look, I don't mind if to share it if you need it. I mean, I don't know how to share, but
we'll get it figured out here. But
just let me know and I will. Not a problem.
So, Sergey, thank you so much for taking time. I know it's late where you are. And for our listeners, I think, God, this is many live that we've had in a long time. This is not even counting what people are going to download afterwards tomorrow and they listen to it and watch it. If you're listening now, please recommend this that everyone go to the YouTube and actually watch the demo. You can slow it down. You can actually follow it, which I like. And this is where I believe that the education and the foundational operation of what AI is, rather than buzzwords. This takes it from being abstract that this is something you can go do. And I'm going to probably spend some time with it, probably Thursday and Friday, and get it set up in our lab, Rod, a little bit. Yeah. But I'm gonna try what I was talking about with a different reference type of documentation. And I'm trying to figure out the yes and no. And I wanted to go with a maybe. Whatever logic they always say, maybe, it depends, and see if it can get very human-like. Oh, it depends, man. Because the maybe is, I don't know. Let me get on Teams or get on Slack or get on something. Hit Sergey. Hey, Sergey, I'm seeing this. What do you think about this? That's the maybe, right? I'm asking you to tell me. I don't like the binary, yes or no. I like it depends. And we can go from there and see. But this is solid. Thank you so much, Sergey. I know we were trying to get this navigated to get you on the show. You took time out. It's late.
I see. Even there are some commentaries that there's a guy from my time zone. So it's like 11:44. Now it's 45.
Noodle. I'm keeping you up Friday too. I'm gonna call you late also, so we can do it. And Sergey, you're always welcome back on the show. We do have a requirement. We didn't tell you this. If you come on this show, you sort of volunteer to come on and co-host one day, so you have to come on and host the show. And
to host
yeah,
the show.
You have to host the show. Most of my guests they come on and host.
Maybe we'll do it from MMS this year, Sergey. I don't know.
I'm afraid
we'll do it from MMS, or we'll do it in Atlanta, or maybe I'll just fly over to. I won't put your geographical location out.
You want to go to Lisbon? I know.
Okay, yeah,
I remember that.
I did it from Lisbon. Didn't I do the show from Lisbon 2 years ago, Rod? And I did it from Greece 1 year, and then I did it from Prague that year.
I don't know about Lisbon, but yeah, definitely Prague and
Copenhagen. Did it from Copenhagen last year.
Right.
It was in Denmark. So
but I may go to Atlanta this year as well. So
and do not come to Atlanta without let me know. You are in my city, so it's for me to show you a good time and host. Always.
All right. Hey, Edward mentioned a little bit ago for our listeners. we do have a couple important months coming up. So March is our Women in Cyber Month. April is what we're referring to now as a new theme month called Tech Heavy, which is going to be all demos. And then the following month in May, we're going to jump back into partners after RSA is over. So everybody should anticipate those months because it's going to be pretty cool.
And in June, Rod and I was throwing some ideas around. Go gather all your certification certificates. We may have a show.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But do a show and tell in June, all the certifications you've achieved, and tell us the story about why they're important. Because Sergey, you have some impressive. Anyone that has the offensive certifications, you didn't play around. What I have noticed is that there are more Europeans that seem to have the offensive certifications than Americans. Wonder why? Conspiracy theory. Big shout out to crazy. Yeah. Frank Grimberg, co-creator the show. Come on, man. I know this OCS and this offensive stuff is in your wheelhouse. Thanks to our listeners who stayed around for the long show. This is not Sergey's last time on the show. We'll definitely get more on this. And thank you, Sergey, so much for coming on. Thanks to all our listeners. We'll see you.
All right. Not next week. Next week we have a holiday. And then
it's holiday. No show next week.
3-day weekend. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah. But we'll see everyone the week after. Have a great week.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.